Thank you for attending our presentation today. So before we deep dive into Crypto Traffer 101 world, let me introduce myself first, and then I'll pass the introduction to my co-speaker today, who is Joan Garcia. So I'm Anna Pham, also known as Russian Panda, but not actually Russian, on social media platforms. I'm currently a senior threat hunter at Huntress, was briefly Unit 42, Toyota Eastern Tire. I have over 5 years of experience in cybersecurity, mainly in the MSSP field, actively contributing to track labs and helping out awesome guys at the DFR report. I have background in threat intelligence, malware reversing, threat hunting, very obsessed with tracking adversary infrastructure, and sometimes when I can, disrupt them, and obsessed with reversing malware, of course. So if you have any malware samples, please feel free to DM me. And with that, I'll pass the introduction to John.
Hello, everyone. I'm Joan. I'm a student from the Politecnica of Valencia. I have nothing to brag on, despite what I share over the internet using this username. We can call it Goncha. I love sharing my findings. I love collaborating with an amazing people like Hannah, like I'm today. And I'm a fanatic about everything that is related to info stealers. So let's talk about cryptographers today.
Thank you, Juan. So before we actually deep dive into crypto traffer universe, let's talk about who actually those crypto traffers are. Crypto traffers are cybercrime groups, primarily native Russian speakers, who specialize in social engineering with the purpose of stealing cryptocurrency and sensitive data from the victims, right? And these groups have evolved from individual users in the forums into organized cybercrime groups with structured teams, recruitment processes, and advanced social engineering tactics leveraging PDF reading software, fake conferencing software, and gaming platforms, right? And they mainly recruit people from their Telegram bots, but they advertise their main operation on cybercrime forums. And if you enter the crypto traffer group in Telegram, so you might notice that these people use like different terms a lot in Russians, right? And I'll mention a few of them today that were being translated from Russian. So the first term is worker. Worker is the person who does the actual hard work, right? So he's the one going out there and conduct the extensive research to find the potential victim. And he's the one who does all the social engineering work and lures the victim into downloading the malicious payload. The mentor is the person who guides the worker through the whole process. So he holds the worker's hands, right? They distribute the manuals to the worker, the documentations, what they have to do. And some affiliate groups, they don't even accept the workers because some of the workers are the newbies. They have no idea what they're doing. They have to complete the training with a mentor before they are accepted and are allowed to work. Mammoth, this term is, I think, relatively new and first appeared in underground forums around like 2019. And it means the victim, right? Launcher means the payload that is being actually delivered to the victim. Whale is the person who holds a large amount of crypto in the wallet. So when you see someone screaming in Telegram chats like, hey guys, I caught a big whale, it doesn't mean that they caught a whale from the actual ocean, right? It means that they managed to successfully social engineer someone with a large amount of crypto. And the landing page is the malicious page that actually hosts the malicious launcher or the payload itself.
So I wanted to start this presentation by having an example of what these people are receiving. These people are working with info stealers, and info stealers generates logs. This is an example of a log from a macOS machine. A Windows machine's log should be the same. It contains information about the machine, but most important, it contains information about the wallet, what is known as hot wallets. The crypto addresses are presented like this on the user information, so these people can look very quickly about the profiles of these people. And you can say, I have a cold wallet. I mean, I can't be targeted by these people, but these people are using malware like this. Also, this is a seed phishing for cold wallets from Ledger. They can target you and they steal your seed phrase from your wallet, and they can drain your crypto very easily.
Cool. So here we see the actual recruitment advertisements on underground forums from two major crypto groups we'll be talking about today, Wagmi team and CryptoLove. As a side note, CryptoLove no longer exists. They coincidentally ceased their operations after we released the public research on them, and it was very negatively received by those traffer groups, right? So we received numerous amount of threats on social media after that. So you see, like those groups heavily invest in those professional designs on the posters, and they even like often hire 3D designers from the same underground forums, right, to create those compelling visual materials for their operations. So let's look at two main case studies, CryptoLove and Wagmi operations. CryptoLove generated over $2.5 million across 7 affiliate teams, with 3 top teams making the most profit. Ironically, profit team, Yellow Empire, Heaven Era 2.0. And their single largest step was over $300,000 in Solana, with the worker taking home approximately $186,000, right? And they specialize in gaming platforms, VDF readers, video conference software. They use them as themes for the landing pages. For the Wagmi operations, they made a little bit less than CryptoLove with $2.4 million from June 2023 up to March 2025. And their traffer group is handled or managed by only one person, right? And he specializes in fake mobile games and video conferencing software. Since it's managed by only one developer, he likes to steal the landing pages from other crypto teams, right? Like Crazy Evil team. And he likes to also steal the landing pages from other legitimate mobile games. So no creativity at all whatsoever for that developer.
About the victims of these operations, we were able to retrieve information that on the CryptoLove, where more than 22,000 people were targeted from countries like Nigeria on the first, the India and the United States, and also including people from Russian-speaking countries, former Soviet states. There is a forbidden rule that not target these people, but we found enough evidence that these people were also working with logs generated from Russian-speaking machines. And also on the Wagmi, they have less victims, they have up to 2,000, and most important, the first country of people targeted was the United States. Who was targeted? Mainly crypto investors and crypto holders and Web3 job seekers.
Thank you, John. So let's look at CryptoLove organizational structure here. So CryptoLove operates through a traditional cybercrime hierarchy. At the top, you can see Landrock. He's the primary infrastructure developer, right? So he's behind developing the custom loaders, launchers, and maintains the admin panels in the back end. Under him, there's a management layer that consists of routine love. So he was allegedly processing victim logs for like up to 16 hours per day, every day, right? Another person is a support lead who is in charge of general support operations. And with Cupidon, I think, yes, he's the veteran support and has been with CryptoLove since 2022. And 2022 was the year when CryptoLove was founded. Below the management layer is the specialized operations layer with Oscar, who is being the senior support manager overseeing the Mr. Beast affiliate team. Next to him is Corte, also known as Yellow Scam. Here, people also call him Yellow. He's the developer of the landing page for Yellow Empire and is behind the Yellow Empire affiliate team. Pink, she is in charge of social engineer operations. She's the mentor, right? Remember the term mentor? So she's the one responsible for writing all the manuals to distribute to the workers on how to socially, be successful in social engineering schemes. And she's the mentor for the whole team. Below the specialized operations, there are 7 major affiliate teams. And I know my math is terrible, but not that bad. I think you can see like 9 of them here. And we actually did not count the last 2, which are Christmas team and Untitled, because they joined CryptoLove by the end of their operations, right? And I believe Christmas team came from Marco Polo, which is another crypto traffer team that did a major exit scam. So each affiliate team, they have their own landing pages, right, with different themes, like from metaverse games, Argon, Genome, Dynaverse, Dragonborn, and all those cool, fancy fake games and fake meeting softwares, right? Google Meet, Nextcall, Zoom. They even impersonate WeChat messaging platforms, right? So they're pretty diverse in here. We can see, and if you ever happen to like visit one of their landing pages, you'd be like fascinated by how how much work they put into making those gaming platforms, right? Fake gaming metaverse platforms look real. You see like 3D animations, like background sounds and all that, just to make the user, want to download the game and play it. So let's talk about code generation here. Initially, Crypto Traffer would allow everyone to visit the landing pages, to download the launches without any restrictions, right? However, once us, like you, me, secure researchers, start like poking these pages, like extracting launchers, revoking the EV certificates, right? They implemented the promotional code system as a defensive mechanism, right? So now Telegram bots of each affiliate team would generate a unique code for the worker to distribute to the victims, right? So the victim visits the landing page, they have to input the correct code in order to receive the launcher. And this system serves multiple purposes, right? Just to make our job harder and tracks which traffer team generated each infections, maintain a database of victims in the back end, and sends the victim's information for the tracking purposes to Telegram channels. So as a sign out here, they even used to take pictures of victims, right? So the victim would visit malicious, like fake Google Meets meeting software, like hoping they would attend an interview, right? And they would get a pop-up notification, like, would you want to enable camera? Yes, of course. And it would take a picture of their faces and then send their faces to Telegram chats with hundreds of people looking at their faces. And it was terrible. After I found out about that, I always tape my camera now. Super, like, paranoid about it.
So thanks to another amazing researcher, he is Greek and his name is Vangelis Stikas, we were able to have an overview of how the infrastructure of these teams work, and it was pretty simple. It was just a server with few PHP files that was handling the generation of code, and they were storing these codes on a database that looked like this. This database was used to relate the code generated by one worker to his own unique tag, and this way we can relate the victim to the worker to split the money that probably is going to be stolen from this victim. Looking at the engage logs of this server, we were able to see how victims were downloading these bills, how codes were being generated using very simple Python programs, and it was very interesting to see this.
Okay, so how far do these cyber criminals go to prove that their quote-unquote business is actually legitimate, right? They create fake businesses, like from fake registration spaces to real company filings, and even branded merchandise. Like, how cool is that, right? CryptoLove groups register actual companies through the UK Companies House, like Cosmo Whales, and this shows how much time and money they're willing to spend on making themselves look real, right? They pay for legal paperwork and company branding just to trick their victims better. And, yep,
okay, so despite what we saw on the CryptoLove, the Wagmi organization was very simple. It was led by one people. His name is Danwiwo. His username was Using, and he has only one people who is doing the bad work. His name is Scarlett Exe, and he was managing the workers. It was pretty simple.
Thank you, John.
Following this style, the landings that we're using were maybe also very simple. They were just copying other pages that were legitimate, maybe mobile games, maybe other games that were found. They even didn't care to delete the references to the original source, so it was very simple to find the other sources.
Thank you. So let's focus on EV certificates here, right? It's not just related to cybercrime, like crypto traffic groups, but other also cybercrime, cyber criminals. Here's what's happening. Criminals are purchasing the EV certificates from underground services that are selling them, right? They're actual underground services selling EV certificates from $3,000 up to $10,000, right? From different certificate authorities, SSL, CERM, Global Sign, you name it. And actually, when they do this, Windows think the launcher is a safe software to run, right? So this works because signed software, they don't generate a lot of alerts, right? So the user would not see any UEC problems. They would see a little friendly smart screen pop up, like, are you sure you want to run this application, right? But if it was not signed with EV certificate, the user would get a red pop-up saying, like, your administrator has blocked your application from running, so you cannot run it, right? So users see a clean file in front of them. The Wagmi group, so they got a certificate from a Vietnamese cosmetics company, and we went and reported that certificate, so it got taken down. Then they immediately switched to an Indian real estate company, we shut that one down too, right? Then they moved to another Vietnamese company, and guess what? It's gone, we shut that down. And then they moved to an Indian charity company. So every time we revoke the certificate, they just go and get a new one, right? And it's very annoying. And we get a lot of people asking us questions like, why do you guys like always report and revoke the certificates? Such a waste of time, right? But remember I told you about the certificates costing so much money for them? And they are usually limited in stock as well, right? Like sellers don't have hundreds of certificates available to purchase. So there's just either like 5 or 3 of them. So it actually costs threat actors a lot of money. And when we actually revoke the certificates, Windows will start blocking those applications from running, right? The threat actors have to scramble and get new certificates and pause their operations. That's why we keep doing this. I mean, yes, they'll go and get new certificates, but every revocation disrupts their operations and actually protects people during that gap.
So I want to focus on this. Why is important to revoke these AV certificates? Because as we can see on the Telegram channels, it disrupts temporarily their operations when they need to change these AV certs. They flag all the builds that are signed with these AV certs, and most important, they make lose money and they make lose time.
Okay, so let's talk about the .NET launchers. So let's talk about CryptoLove launchers here. So the first discovered CryptoLove launchers were written in .NET, self-contained .NET loaders, and they were first unobfuscated, and they start adding .NET Reactor to it for the obfuscation, and it would then gathers the AV information on the host, the country information based on IPs, crypto wallet information, right? They would have the hard-coded crypto wallet browser extension IDs, because some of the crypto holders have the crypto wallet browser extensions enabled, and it would have the anti-analysis evasion capabilities. The anti-analysis consists of the binary checks. It checks whether it's running in the sandbox or emulated environment using the check emulation method, so it will fail. So the payload would exit, right, if one of the conditions is true. If the available memory is less than 4 gigabytes on the victim's host, the current directory of the binary is running from either root folder or temporary folder, and the executable name without the extension would be more than 11 characters long. The username or machine name would have to match the specific hard-coded values in the binary array. So it would exit and not run. And after it determines that it's running on the victim's machine, an actual bare metal, it asks exclusion for Windows Defender for the C folder and moves to the final multi-stage payload delivery. So let's look at the diagram that shows the execution of the CryptoLove launcher here. It starts with the VM and cloud detection. So apart from the check emulation, right, the launcher starts also with the other anti-analysis checks for virtual environments and also for the cloud environments. So it checks for virtual environments by detecting the manufacturers like Chemo, Virtual Machine, VirtualBox, VMware, and also scans for the cloud environments like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. So if it detects one of those environments, it immediately exits. So once it's confirmed it's running on the actual machine, right, it proceeds with information gathering and asks the exclusion for Defender. Notice the C2 infrastructure here, right? They are using 3 separate C2 infrastructure, one for hosting the payloads, one for receiving the telemetry, the other one for error reporting. The error handling mechanism is particularly interesting here, I would say. So each stealer, right, usually 3 stealers that are being pushed, either it's Luma stealer or Damantis or Steal C. And each stealer has 3 failure codes with specific status codes like a download failure, execution failure, and the file exists, right? When the file exists on the system, but for some reason it cannot run because either the AV is blocking it or an EDR software. And 3 stealers are deployed sequentially, right? With like 15 seconds delay between the first and the second stealer, and 20 seconds delay between the second and the third stealer. If any stealer fails, it immediately proceeds to deliver the next one, ensuring the maximum payload delivery on the system. And the granular error codes from 10 to 18, it ensures it provides the threat actors with the insights on what's blocking their launchers from running in different environments on the host. So CryptoLove. So CryptoLove then, they got a little bit more creative in November 2024. They switched to using DevilNext, which is integrated development environment for PHP based on JPHP. So the user would have to enter the code, right, when they execute the launcher, and the code got sent to the back end. And if the code is correct in the back end, right, they would receive a JSON response saying it's true. The code would also contain the username. Their JSON response would also contain the username of the Telegram worker there. So it was pretty interesting, right? And the final payload would be a DLL payload that is delivered to the victim. And I thought it's going to be some novel like DLL sample, right? Got really excited. But the DLL was actually just a, nothing fancy, but a PE loader sample that was an actual open source project. And it would leverage the process hole injection technique to inject either one of the two stealers, like Luma C 2 stealer or Steal C from the hard-coded C2 URLs in the binary itself. And they got a little bit annoying later on in November 2024. They introduced Morpheme Loader. And Morpheme Loader uses a reflective loading technique to dynamically allocate, load, and execute the final payload into the currently running process. It also uses the ASMG library, which is lightweight C++ library for low latency code generation to facilitate the memory allocation for the final payload. And the API would be obfuscated with just a simple XOR in the payloads, but it would have a lot of garbage codes in the payload binary itself, so it makes it very hard, annoying for the reverser to analyze. And last time I checked, I think a few days ago, it still has 0 detections on VirusTotal, right? Which is pretty insane. Enough about malware now. So tired of talking about malware. Let's talk about how these workers actually operate in the background, right? So after joining the team, before even joining the team, they would have to send the application form to the traffer group, remember? In the Telegram chat bot that I told you about. So they have to answer all these questions, right? Provide the social media accounts to them, answer how many years of experience you have with the crypto, and what's your maximum amount of profit, etc. Once they're accepted, they have to send another set of application into affiliate teams, right? And they can choose to work for one affiliate team, one branch, either one or multiple of them. It doesn't matter. Once they're accepted, they have to familiarize themselves with the project itself, which means involves studying social media platforms, all the available documentation on the project, the website itself, and they have to actually study their assigned project very thoroughly because they will need to answer the questions from the victims, right, and be able to understand what the project is about. And before starting to actually do the work, the scamming work, they have to go and purchase the social media accounts, right? And there are services out there on Telegram that sells those social media accounts. They're usually compromised to purchase, like Twitter, right? Instagram, Discord, Gmail, all you can name. So how the threat actors look for the potential victims, right? They use multiple strategies to look for potential victims, for example, using DAppRadar. DAppRadar is a platform for Web3 users for active crypto projects. So these crypto projects would usually have the socials embedded in them, Discord, Telegram, Twitter, and they would go to Discord, for example, right? Look for users with Nitro subscriptions and with the user who has their wallet information in the bio, and they would leverage that information to look up their wallet balance on Zapper.xyz, for example, which is a portfolio explorer, or Arkham Intel, a platform which is a blockchain analytics platform, and they also can leverage Arkham Intel for social media information, right? Gathering the social media of the accounts. A lot of crypto workers, they use Arkham Intel, specifically their visualization feature, to determine if one account has a lot of wallets tied up to it, right, or accounts. Because if the account has over 50 transactions going, back and forth to one wallet, it means that the same account might own multiple wallets. It means it's a potentially good target for them. For Twitter, they use the ETH handles, the search term, and the wallet address, right, to look up the wallet addresses for each account and find the potential targets. They also use the TGStat for Telegram to find high-value crypto channels. And most of them are Chinese users, and I'm not sure why. So if you find out, please let me know. Yes, so workers use a lot of fraudulent recruitment posts on Freelancer, Upwork, right? And they trick victim into downloading and launching this malicious payloads. And people are just trying very hard to go out there and trying to find a job, right? These scammers are just out there trying to get them. How bad it can be. Terrible. Research and research and research again. So remember I told you about them like doing a lot of extensive research on a potential victim. So they would pull up all the like available social media account on that person, right? They would find out what meal you had last week, what conferences you attended to, right? And this was an example of a successful social engineering attempt against someone who went to DEF CON, right? Not DEF CON, DEF CON. So they started the conversation like, hey, I stopped by the booth the last time, like we had a good chat. I think you'll be a perfect candidate for this role. That got the person interested, right? They said, yeah, give me more details, but before I jump on the call with you, I just want to know more information. This is where they got them, right? Like, hey, you need to sign NDA before I actually can disclose the position and description to you. So they sent him like a malicious like launcher, like pretending to be a fake PDF reader, for example, for him to sign the NDA agreement. And the workers would have like, all the pre-written canned responses for questions, right? And for the victims. So you can see on the slide, they sound like almost like one of those like, recruiters that hits your LinkedIn DMs all the time, right? With all the like interviews, recommendations and questions. And most of them like mainly are generated with AI. You can see that was wrapped from like a CryptoLove channel. They have the pre-written responses and questions. So workers just copy paste it and send it to the victims.
So all in all, what happened with these people? Well, we can say that the CryptoLove operation was completely disrupted. All affiliates were leaving, were scamming his workers, or they switched to other teams that were working at that time. And of course, some members they started directly to leave Cybergram. They were ashamed that something like this could happen when we start exposing their work. We can confidently say that the only affiliate that was left in the team, we started to make designs over Photoshop, so there's no more Cybercam for him. And on the Wagmi, they started losing several money, they started losing several time, they got tired, they got think that every worker that they got on the team was reporting their stuff, they stopped collaborating with more people, and there's no more Wagmi. Everything got disrupted too.
Okay, so what can we learn from our presentation today, right? The CryptoLove and Wagmi criminal operations have collectively stolen over $5 million, right, from victims between 2022 and 2025. And they're like over 24,000 victims. And just to put it in perspective, right, individual victim have lost as much as $300,000 in the single attack. And these are not just amateur scammers, right? This group abused like code signing certificates, like I mentioned, to bypass security protections. And the silver lining here is that our research shows that certificate revocation campaigns have a measurable impact on these operations, right? When we work with certificate authorities and revoke the certificates, we can significantly disrupt their operations and make them lose a lot of money. So public research here is also very important. Just you disrupt their operations, right? Just by exposing their operations to the community. And technology also is not enough here, right? The criminals have advanced their deception tactics using sophisticated social engineering tactics, like I mentioned, fake business registrations, even legitimate business registration, voice calls, stage interviews. And with AI evolving now, it will be even worse, right? So the crypto community have to recognize that security measures are insufficient here, and we need to spread awareness of these evolving threats to the community, right, and make people aware, because today or tomorrow might be one of us who is being targeted by these crypto scammers. So thank you for your attention and attending this talk today. If you have any questions.
Ready for any questions?
Thank you very much.